There we go. There we go. Turned out maybe not YouTube that's the dumbass after all. Maybe it is me. There we go. There's the stream up. The only one that I have the stream today because no one actually responded to me in chat, so Lobby B is going to have to go without again, unfortunately. I'm going to tag Dino real quick, make sure he's coming. Alright, there's the ping for Dino. Hello everyone joining us now. I hope everyone is having a fantastic evening. It is now a pretty big day here in ALR, the ALR Esports calendar. Week 6, the day we say goodbye to 3 of the teams that we have in the competition before moving on to double points next week. And some of these teams have brought out some big guns, especially at the top of the championship. Put into a reminder of where we are in the championship so far then. We currently have, well, not too much I think will change coming at the end of this one. However, we currently have a 22-point lead at the top of the championship here for FGR. After having that gap closed by 3 points by Arix, who are currently in second on 279. 301 for FGR, 279 for Arix. Then you've got 264 for Falcon, who had a monster week last week. And quite frankly, look to add to it. They're on 264, and then you've got Project Platypus on 229. The top 4 very much far and away at this point in time. Then you've got 5th place, Aero GT on 149. They currently sit in the last spot that we currently have in next week's race. Then you've got 9PP on 115. It's a 34-point gap. Whilst it is it's not impossible to overcome that. They're going to need a big day here, Pegasus, but not impossible to overcome. One of their drivers is definitely going to go for a home run tonight, that's for certain, if they want to turn that one around. They've got Apex on 100, who might look to jump for 6th at this point. And then you've got Misfits on 32 at the back of the grid, and we'll almost certainly be saying goodbye to them tonight. Hopefully they join back next season. Still got a couple of teams that haven't agreed to next season yet. We have 6 that have, which is good news. We'll be sending a message out to the 3 teams that are driving this season who haven't actually given us any indication of whether or not they are continuing on with us next time out. We've got I claimed my DT Edge account earlier, so might look to put up the event on there. Also, if you've got any ideas of places to advertise or teams that might want into this, feel free to let me know. That way I can speak to them. But yeah, with that being said, we're a couple of minutes away from going on round 6 here. Let's go through the drivers we've got in Lobby A's qualifying session. So let's start with the current champions. Well, current title leaders. Then we've got FGR here. So Aura, again, the main man. If we had an MVP award, I think he would be the front runner for it. Currently leading FGR to a title as it stands. And he's in the Merc GT320, and he's flanked this week by Millis, who's actually done a pretty good job of his own this season in the M6, and also Vigo, who is joining us for the first time this season in the RCF, but last time we saw him racing ALR, he got 4th, so he's no stranger to the league. He's no stranger to a good performance, so A very strong lineup here for FGR. Let's go to Arix next, who are second in the championship. Let's see what they brought to us, with them this week. So they've got Slim in the Aston Martin Vantage. They've got Ben in the Nissan 18, and they got Javi, their main man, in the McLaren. Is everyone all right with my voice, actually, just before we go any further? Just so I don't have to, just so I know whether or not I have to change things or something of that nature. Because I forgot to do a mic check on my phone before starting this properly. We'll get going. I'll put the starting soon in chat here. It is now 8 o'clock. All good? Nice. Thank you, Deco. Thank you indeed. We'll get going in about 30 seconds here. I've given them the starting soon warning. So we'll figure it out as we go along. We've gone through Arix, we've gone through FGR, so we'll go through Falcon when we start qualifying here, and then we'll go through Project Platypus, who are currently 4th in the championship. We'll go through those in order. We've got a big name here for Falcon. We're going to go now. Yeah, we're going to go now because it's just ticked over 8 o'clock onto 8:01 here, so don't want to delay it too far. We'll get started on qualifying around Sardegna here in the Group 3 cards, as we usually do here in ALR. So, for Falcon, who are currently in 3rd, they brought a big gun out. They brought the big guns out for today, and it starts mainly with the guy that we're currently highlighting. Mew Mew's back here in ALR. For the first time in an entire season. He came in at the end of last season to try and help Falcon to a title. He did it successfully. Well, Falcon won the title as a whole successfully with that season. And he's back here in week 6 to try and get Falcon toward the front. He is driving in the Z4, which is a noticeable improvement over the DBR9 he was driving in Zequar last day we were around. They also have brought with them Jensen, who is a very familiar face here. Very familiar face here in ALR. Him and Aura literally tooth and nail every single week and just literally punching each other as much as they can. And then they also bring Dino as well. Norwegian. Their second Norwegian. Actually, it's the 3rd Norwegian this season. They've got Sindra and Harlex as well. Harlex usually doing a very good job, not here tonight. But they have put out their perceived strongest lineup for ALR, quite frankly. And I'm very intrigued to see if Falcon can move along here. And then for Project Platypus, they have brought Zico, who is in the GTR. They have brought Badabig in his Georgia Bulldog livery there up ahead in the Lexus, and they've also brought BX, who is a very main figure in this league by this point. And he's also the first one over the line, so we're going to watch him through his first lap here. Everyone's just trying to bide for a little bit of space there as we continued on in this season, in this qualifying session as well. Just the very first qualifying lap of the day. It's not a great start. That looked like a little bit too much grass for his own liking there. We'll see if anything is going to come out of, well, what the benchmark is realistically going to be at the start of this one. Lewis was meant to be driving for Project Platypus today. I'm not entirely sure what caused the change there, but it did. So that's the reason why Badabig has been thrown in, I think. But with that being said, that doesn't it does weaken them, but it doesn't weaken them by an awful lot. Should still have 3 very good drivers here at the front of the pack. Sardegna is a... it's a relatively tricky track. Nothing special, but it is a relatively tricky track, and I don't think we've done this layout in of Sardegna in forever in this league. In any format, actually. So it's been a while since we brought out the larger Sardegna format. It looks like a 40.8 for BX, so that's a good start. Mumu there's a 40.3. Oof. That's a massive start there for Falcon, as they already have a massive lead. It's cut down to just over a tenth from Aura there. Aura doing a 40.4. Slim only 3 thousandths of a second behind Aura. Oh, what is an incredibly good lap for him. At the start of this qualifying session, Ben and Jensen not really doing much of anything there. And I think Dino had a 41.0 there as well. He'd be looking to improve on that. So Javi did a 40.7, 40.77 for Millis, who currently sits in 5th. BX in 6th on a 40.8. We saw that lap to start with Dino on a 41.0, 41.2 for Zico. Needs to be looking a bit at that. Badabik on a 41.4. Jensen didn't do a proper lap. You'd think on that 41.6, you'd think he'd got at least a second in that, and there's the purple first sector. You got Ben at a 41.7 and a Vigo 41.9, which I know for a fact he got better timing than that, so he's got a lot of work to do. We're going to go to the line here. We'll try and get as close to the line here as we can. Not sure what is going on here. And Mumu's actually managed to catch up to Vigo here. Onto the back of him already. The Falcon driver very much in a little bit of traffic at the start of this qualifying session. Well, halfway through actually now, the middle of this qualifying session is probably more apt way of putting it. The exit now into the pits. Is there going to be anything that comes between these guys? Javi into the pits, Aura into the pits. These guys stayed out a lot longer. I'm very intrigued now to see whether or not the driver in white here is going to catch up and be impeded in any way, because he's seemingly quicker. 41.6 for Ben, an improvement there. Dino's gone on to a 40.9, so slight improvement. You would think there's probably a little bit more in the tank for him. Purple right now for Mumu in this one. I know too. So I'm not actually sure the pronunciation of his name. If someone from Falcon could very much drop me that would be appreciated. That way I don't proceed to butcher his name for the next hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, this is the final week for the top 5 split. After tonight, we say goodbye to the bottom 3 teams, Misfits, and most likely Pegasus and Apex, but they're not completely out of it yet. 34 points is what they need to overturn, which quite frankly is going to be a large task. Also Jensen, 40.2 there, currently at the front of the grid, provisional pole at the moment. But yeah, 34 points is going to be a large task to try and overturn, but not impossible. Not impossible by any means. But yeah, it is very likely that those 3 teams are the ones that are saying goodbye, and we'll have Aero GT at the 5th place, because they seem to be very much rooted to 5th at the moment. And then we've got the battles at the front. Jensen's about to come into the pits here. 7 minutes 17 left on gone on the clock. Ben's just dove straight in, no regard to the pit lane line. I think that's a 40.4 there for Dino. I think it is, you know. Very quickly just to shift something out of my field of view, because that was covering up the time in the bottom right hand corner on my screen, on my big monitor I've got in front of me. Slim just started a lap here. I'm going to stick with him right now, because currently 3 thousandths of a second behind Aura, and he's only a 10th and some change off of pole, which is not what I was expecting. You've got a lot of big names there fighting. You've got Aura, you've got Jensen, the two that we would usually see fighting. You've got Muma there as well, who's in second. And then you've got Slim, who's very much the odd one out. We'll see if he can do anything about it. He's currently going quicker. He would be able to jump Aura as it stands. Be a magnificent qualifying session for the Arex driver if he can do this, you know. Currently beating out a Falcon driver there in second. He would have 2 Arex drivers in the top 6. Which would be a better start than what FGR are amassing to at the moment. So that's a great... This would be advantage Arex at this point in time. Well, if you completely forget the fact that Falcon exists and currently have 1 too. What a YouTube name. That's an incredible YouTube name. Good afternoon. Zika there in the background and the penalty for Ben as well, which we saw was coming because he very much cut the pit lane line. Slim currently coming to the line, about to finish off his lap. Zico has no control over his car in the background. Very, very intrigued to see how this ends now, because we are about to come toward the end of the qualifying session. 9:20 gone. Slim goes on provisional pole! What a lap! 40.204! 0.6 of a second quicker than Zika there you saw in the background of your screen. What a lap! I think Jensen is getting in it with Ben right now. He goes to the inside. He might not have time to fight this back. If he's been impeded into the first couple of corners or held up in any way, then this might be a very good time for the Arex driver. We are going to keep an eye out on the times. We'll switch to the VQS Falcon driver afterwards. We'll see what time he's currently amassing. Oh, Jensen's currently purple. Okay, so Jensen's also scraped the wall a little bit there. We've got Mumu to the line. Is he going to be able to improve? Be a pass Slim to the line. 39, 40.1, and he's beaten by 12 thousandths of a second. Oh, that is incredibly unfortunate for Slim. Might have just had his greatest chance at an ALR, an ALR Esports pole ripped away from him. Javi to the line next. Is there going to be an improvement for Javi? If it is, it's going to be, mind you, it isn't going to be an improvement. Aura to the line. Aura 40.3, not good enough for the top 3. Millis 40.6. Dino there as well, not really getting anywhere with it. Vigo 41.0. Slim unable to improve. I think that might be it. Are we going to get pole for Jensen? No, we are not. But it is going to be pole for Falcon anyway. 12 thousandths of a second in it. Slim putting up one hell of a fight there. That was not a name I was expecting to have to factor into the conversation. But Jesus, that is a lap and a half from the Finnish driver there in second. Only bested by the new Falcon driver in first. Jensen in third, Aura in fourth. That's one hell of a star-studded second row there. The best FGR driver in fourth place in this qualifying session. Provided, obviously, something miraculous hasn't happened in Lobby B. How do you join? So there should be a Discord link in the description of this video. If you click out of live chat, you can go into the description of the YouTube video. There should be a Discord link right towards the top. If I'm right, audio, you can correct me if I'm wrong in that statement. If you click on that, that'll take you to our Discord server. Once you join, then in there we can go through and get you into a team if you don't have one yourself. You won't be able to join today, though. No, today's very much set in stone. Everyone's already started. We're not going to allow people to switch in and out at this point in time, though. But if you want to join in future, feel free. Pretty sure it definitely won't be the last season of ALR Esports we do. We've already got six yeses for next season. So we are definitely running at least one more of these, which is always a good sign. New team, new blood as well in for next season with Inferno Racing. They're joining us. I'm getting added to the esports chat after this race, I'm pretty sure, if Wack hasn't already done it. But yeah, we've got Project Platypus back for next season, Eric's back for next season. Hoping to have FGR and Falcon back as well. I haven't heard anything from those two groups as of yet. Then we got the rest of Lobby B also joining us again next season. As it stands. Yeah, welcome to the 35 people who have joined us for week 6 here of ALR Esports. Absolutely incredible qualifying session. The top 4 split by just over a tenth and a quarter. The top 5 by just over a quarter of a second of the whole. The entire group, well, top 10 by less than 8.5 tenths. The 11th and 12th kind of off the pace just a little bit. Which does make sense. Bada Big was a very late substitution from my understanding from Project Platypus. And Arix chose to let Ben race, even though everyone around him decided to go completely balls to the wall in terms of their teams this week. Everyone's just like lost to a Z4. Yeah, I would like to point out that Mumu's in a Z4. Just to put a little bit more of an emphasis on what actually just happened in this qualifying session. But Falcon 1, 3, and 5, and we said that they're in within like 40 points. I'm pretty sure was the total at the beginning of beginning of the night. So with that poll, if you think they're coming elsewhere, or potentially coming, that 37-point gap is going to shrink a little bit further. If it was to end like this, I reckon they might actually jump into second. Having 7th there for Arix, the second of the 2 Arix drivers. So we'll have 2 Arix drivers for certain in Lobby A, 2 FGRs for certain as well. And all 3 Falcon drivers, because they are top 5, and I'm not in. Actually, it isn't. No, it would be possible for it to happen. It would require 3/4 of Lobby B being quicker than what is the current Lobby A, which would be impressive. Majorly impressive, actually. I don't think that's ever actually happened before. Just flicking that over so BX can get the bottom 4 as well. Just so he can get himself set up and we can figure out what is and isn't a Lobby A. There he goes. There it is. So, Lobby A. We are going to do end race very quickly here. Now he knows everything. It's moving up front with Slim, then Jensen, then Aura, then Dino, Iggy in P6. Well, 140.6 Aero GT. Where the hell did that come from? That has come from absolutely nowhere. Fair enough for Iggy there. 7th is Millis, 8th is Javi, 9th is Latari, because Apex are apparently not done either. You've got BX in 10th, Zico in 11th, Keto for Aero GT in 12th, Owen for Aero GT in 13th. All 3 Aero GT drivers in Lobby A, and I think that must be a first. And then we've got Bigo, who's currently in 14th. So we have lost a couple of drivers here from the top lobby. It's actually a pretty impressive run for Aero GT, because if, you know, as if they didn't want to completely secure that 5th place already, they are putting the rest of the group to the sword by the looks of things. In Lobby B, you've got Fluffy Butt on the pole there, then Astrodon, Pale, Badabig, Thunderdome, Ben MK in 6th, Whack in 7th, SD in 8th, Bloodhound in 9th, and HK in 10th. So there you go, that's the group for Lobby B. For Lobby A, this is the group of 14 we currently have. Actually a number of surprises in this lobby, honestly. Was not expecting 3 Aero GT guys. Apex also getting one in here is a pretty good achievement for them. They started to do that fairly consistently at the end of this season. They always seem to end a lot stronger than they start. You know, they need to be taken in this week 6, week 5 form straight into the final, into the first couple of races on the season. They might end up standing a chance of that top 5. There you go. So we've got these guys in. We've changed the settings to reflect a race, so we will now do the grid order. So Slim, where are you? They're in 2nd. Then you've got Jensen in 3rd, Aura in 4th, Dino in 5th, and then it's Iggy in 6th. Then it's Millis in 7th, Javi in 8th. Latari is next in 9th. Then you've got BX in 10th. Do that for now. Not sure why people haven't entered at BX. There you go, he's entered. So you got BX in 10th. That's 11th, Taylor. Apparently I'm blind. And you've got Zico in 11th. And you've got Keto in 12th. Owen in 13th and Vigo in 14th. So all 3 FGR drivers are in here as well. I've got one of them that needs to put a little bit of a shift in. I don't think they'll be too happy with 14th if that ends up being the scenario. Put the starting soon in here. There's a lot that could change it. Look at this. Yeah, they can have 2 minutes. The entire group, apart from BX, is an A+ lobby. So we've got a couple of minutes then. Let Dino figure his stuff out. In terms with that being said then, I will very much go and check a couple of things, make sure everything is good. Yeah, you can do 40.6, 40.8 for Latari, 40.89 for Keto. Yeah, the top 4 all within the 40s. 41.021 for Fluffy, but being the first outside is a bit harsh. Puts him in a good place to win the second lobby though, if he can take advantage of it. For reference, if you joined us earlier but you didn't catch it, this is the final week before we say goodbye to the bottom 3 teams in the championship this season. Yeah, this is the final race before we say goodbye to the bottom 3 teams. We'll have 5 teams left after that, which, given the fact that Aero GT's put 3 in this lobby, probably means that it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, for anyone to jump them now. Or unless all 3 of them are going to have disasters of a race. But yeah, it'll be the 4 we saw in Lobby A. That's Falcon, that's Project Platypus. We'll have Arix and FGR joining us next week. And then probably Aero GT as well. It'll turn into double points from week 7 and week 8. We go to Spa first and we end at the Nordschleife. We'll put the starting soon in here. And then in a minute or so, we will go racing for real. 14 drivers, a lot of drivers who know what they're doing, who have been around the block once or twice in this league in particular. A lot of ALR trophies currently on the grid. A couple of them having, one of them had their number retired at one point before hopping back in. But yeah, with that being said, I think we've given... Give Dino a minute more and we'll get going. But yeah. Yeah, he said he was good. He'd let me know he was good. That's on him at this point. But yeah. We will have someone just pulled up into the side there. Yeah, we'll get going. One last check of the settings real quick. Yeah, early morning ×1. Race for real. Everything else is exactly what it needs to be. So we're going to start. We are going to start. Everyone's had a chance to sort out the settings. More than enough time to sort out the settings at this point. Let's see what week 6 of ALR Esports has in store for us. It's the first time in a while that we've got no headlights. I think that'll make RDO happy when he goes to make the highlight of this one. And there we go, we've got the first of the red lights. 3, 4, 5 red lights. His lights out, and away we go! The better start for the Z4 over Slim's car there as he go down towards turn 1. Aura's got up in a third straight away. Jensen not after the greatest start either. Iggy's up in a 5th, jumps Dino, so it's not the greatest start in the world for Falcon. He cost himself a couple of positions off the start. It looks like everyone with a little bit of dirt kicked up in the background of the shot there has made it through turn 1 at Sardegna unharmed. We still have Moo from Slim. It's Slim on the softs, Moo start on the medium tyre, so that's the interesting conundrum we've got here. Difference in strategy call already. Aura on the medium tyre behind, Iggy on the mediums. So it looks like it may have just been an Eric's call to go on the softs. A little bit of a fight there. Not entirely sure. I think there may be a little bit of contact there between Millis and Dino. They go for 6th and 7th. Habib looking to go around the outside now. Well, Latari, that's a wall. You don't want to be doing that very often. There's a couple of cars now queuing for him in behind. Habib just getting himself slightly ahead of Dino right now. He's got Keto right behind him. And I think that's BX as well. Habib's still got the inside line. Oh, he's contact. Oh, he has. He caught him. Him and Dino into the wall, and Habib caught him. Oh, and there's just carnage here. There goes 1. There goes 2. Latari's been caught up. Oh, he's been caught up. I think there was a hit on Zico as well. And we now have a split group. Javi and I think that was Dino got each other. I think Javi was wanted a little bit too much space and caught the rear of the car in front. It's great news if you're FGR, because that allows for Vigo to gain 4 or 5. Positioned off the start of this race. Slim has hit the lead of this race, far off in his softs. It took too much advantage of looking at what was going on in the back of the field, that the front of the field has changed already. The soft driver needed to get himself in front, and has got himself up in front. I don't have the keyboard for it. I've looked. Yeah, I don't have the keyboard for it. I need to look into it properly. Hey. They're used to this by now, Boogie. They're used to this by now. You got Mumu in 2nd right now. They got Aura in 3rd. Iggy's up in the 4th after all the carnage. Aero GT may have lost 1 to the back of the grid, but the other gaining quite heavily. Jensen in 5th, Millicent 6th, Keto in 7th right now as well. He's been a major beneficiary of all the carnage in the first lap of this race. I think your biggest loser that would have been Arix. Outside of Slim hitting the front, Javi dropped straight to the back. Oh, that didn't look good. Oh, that did not look good in the slightest. I'm not entirely sure what has happened there. I think Keto's had a little bit of a mess. He dropped a couple of positions. He's in 9th now. Vigo's up again. I think Keto may have just forced Zico off the track in the background. Still hold on to ninth. Well, not going to get a better angle of that, unfortunately. The cars sliding their way through the second to last corner of the lap. A lot of fighting through the first couple of laps of this race. Jensen, so 4 of the top 5 are currently on medium tyres. Slim went on to soft, so Slim is very much trying to build his gap already. But you got Miller's there as well, who's on the medium tyres. You can add into the list. Mediums for VX, mediums for Vigo. I think it's everyone on a medium tyre that isn't. Yeah, everyone in the entire group is on a medium tyre that is not Slim at the front of the grid, which is an indication that Slim's going to do the opposite to everyone else. And Dino dropped to the back, Owen and Latari ahead of him, with Javi back into 11th. So a little bit of gain for Javi out of all of that, albeit I think Dino probably ends up reporting that and wipes out that gain more than likely. Vigo, who's the big winner out of all of this, all the way up in the 8th already. FGR are not going to be complaining about that. For once they have incidents in the first lap go their way instead of wiping out their main man. Oh, that's Jensen and Iggy. They're fighting it out now, looking for 4th. Big Jensen's got a better run on that outside. Still there on the outside, is now ahead. And Jensen is up in a 4th. You got Millis there really looking for it in the background as well. He's just poked his nose out, looking to go down the inside of Iggy. Has got down the inside of Iggy. Iggy's still got a decent exit. Is it going to be enough to hold on? That's the real question now. Hello, CMP. They got Iggy closing that door. Fair play. He's entitled to do so. Iggy closing that door on Millis. Millis probably should be using Iggy here to get after Jensen. Even though going for the move and trying to attack Jensen himself, but he looked like he's going to do the latter. Millis to the inside of turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. I think that was a return fire for the closing of the door from Iggy on the prior corner. And Millis has got the position off the Austrian driver. Oh, Millis looking a little bit sketchy there through the chicane. I think actually the last time we came here, we actually had Enzine having issues with Viking and all that company. That's actually the last time we came here as a whole. There you go, BX comfortably in 7th now. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Vigo then. So Vigo's had an issue that dropped him back to 9th. BX is comfortably in 7th. Get some breathing space here for Project Platypus, who needs to get something going. Otherwise, they're going to be out of reach by the time Spa and the Nordschleife come around. Zico, that might be a little bit too wide. Trying to force himself into a hole that didn't really exist. Caught himself on a lot of grass. Javi's got up to this group as well. Dino is off with Owen right at the back now. Latari's got a gap. These 4 fighting it out. Then we've got Iggy and Millis again. Those 2 fighting out. Iggy has taken upon himself to take the position back from Millis. The Austrian regains 5th. It has allowed for Jensen to drive off into the distance. See what else is going on here. Aura still within the second of Mimu. Who's 1.6 behind Slim at the moment. I think Slim is going to need a bigger gap than that. I genuinely think Slim's going to need a bigger gap than that as we continue one lap. I think it's going to be a 2-stop for everybody, because I don't think the fuel starting on 50% is going to be long enough to drag out the 1-stop. I think you only get, what, 10, 11 laps maybe out of that tank on half. So you're probably going to go to then and then with that, and then if you start on the mediums, you're probably going to go to 2 sets of soft afterwards. Wouldn't imagine that this one is anything other than a very routine 2-stop. Oh, that doesn't look good. That doesn't sound good. Dino's well, Owen's not particularly happy with Dino. Javi dropped to 12th. I'm not entirely sure how that has happened. It looks like Owen is very much in the distance, and Javi is now under fire from the Balkan driver. He goes around the outside. We've seen these two come together already in this fashion, funny enough. And Javi doesn't hit the outside of the car this time. And Dino around the outside gets the move done. Vigo's dropped into 11th as well. Latari's gained an extra place back. Akito and Zico, 8th and 9th, very much in the distance right now from the group. Iggy's cleared Millis by a second. Jensen's cleared Iggy by 2, and then we'll go further up. Aura's closed in the gap on Mumu, just a very slight amount, as pretty much the same amount that Slim has opened up to the lead. Yeah, the last time I saw a competitive race done in a Z4 was forever ago, quite frankly. I had one of the short track championship races in ALR on Friday night done in one. I think it was actually 1-1. Yeah, not a very often. You never see this. You never see it very often, anyway. That's a certain. Yeah, Sardegna did never disappoint on the type of racing. That's a certain. Mumu in 12th, Aura in 13th. In 13th, Aura in 3rd, Mumu in 12th, 10th, 2nd. Sorry. English is apparently a difficult subject at this point. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Mumu in 2nd, Aura in 3rd. Spent a lot of time on the back of the field, that's why I was getting the numbers mixed up. His gap has opened up just a little bit on this lap for the lead as well. That's 2nd and 3rd as well. Aura about 8/10 of a second was about 6. Oh, he got damaged. Yeah, you can tell the car just unsettled a little bit there, and it just screwed him straight into the wall. He got damage to the front. And there goes Jensen, taking full advantage of that, and Jensen gets past. That is an almighty error, potentially, for Aura by the end of this one. He needed to stay with Mumu. If he wanted to win this one, he almost lost the car as well. On the outside of turn 2. Straight into the... Yeah, you have to kind of feel sorry for Aura on that one, because he didn't really have too much control in dropping it like that. It looked like he was already well out of the corner before that car just went, yeah, not today. And now he's got a little bit of catching up to do, because now the Falcon drivers can use themselves as a bit of a barrier for each other. And now work together to go after Slim as well. Like, probably the worst possible scenario for both Arix and for FGR that happening there for Aura. Because now they've got, yeah, as I said before, the teamwork element. If Jensen can get close enough to Mumu to clear, essentially try to clear Aura, then these two can just work together, drop the rest of the pack and go after Slim. We already know how to do a medium stint later on in this race. For reference, you have to use two different sets of compound, two different types of compounds. So medium and soft will be almost certainly the choice in this race. Be very surprised if we see a hard tyre at all the entire season. We have had a lot of strategy though. This is the first race in a long time where strategy is not really going to play too much of a factor. Yeah, it's cleared Millis. Millis is actually now under fire from BX. So Millis is having a bit of a tangle with ALR royalty in this race. That's a certain. Iggy and BX, both 10-time champions in this server. We'll see if there's anything in this for BXian. For Project Platypus, Millis just seems to be a little bit unsettled with his car right now. I wonder if that's going to prompt BX into any sort of move. The longer that goes on, the more Millis gets unsettled, the more you would expect BX just to start to look for something bigger. You got Zico and Keto in 8th and 9th, those two 7/10 splitting each other. That move shouldn't be too far away. And then you got Vigo and Latari both going at it here. I personally think St. Croix is the most picturesque circuit in the game. But that's my personal opinion. I love St. Croix. Latari defending the inside against Vigo here, doing it very well to make sure there is nowhere for Vigo to go. And got Javi right behind them now. Javi's going to look at that FDR driver and know that he needs to get by. Owen and Dino. Dino's very much at the back of the grid, so that is not great news if you're a Falcon, whose two other drivers are second and third, who very much do, well, damage control at the very least. Let's see if anything else is happening. Aura off the mediums. Keto off the mediums. Nice little bit of, well, now we've got a little bit of strategy into the mix. BX is still right behind Millis. Everyone else had a comfortable gap to each other. Jensen is closing Mumu down, and not by enough for it to matter. And Slim has now got a 2.7 second gap at the front of this grid. BX dropping about 0.4 of a second here to Millis, so it must have been a relatively rough first sector here for BX, who is down on his fastest one, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, they definitely are. They definitely can catch you out if you're not paying attention. So Millis is currently 5th, Vigo in 9th. Aura is pit already off the first set, off of his medium tyres onto his first set of soft, so that's a false position for Aura, but he was 4th prior. Had a bit of a bounce with Barrier, and we'll have to figure it out from there. Miller still ahead of BX by 9/10 of a second. Nothing really changing out front. Let's see. Latari still there with Vigo as well, which means Javi is coming to pit off of his medium tires. That makes more sense as to where Javi's gone now. Yeah, Slim is on the grid. Slim is the wild card tonight, to be honest with you, because I was not expecting him. I've spent a lot of time watching Slim, and in particular Slim's racers, both in Tier 1 in this league and in Esports, and we have a thing that goes back and forth where he very much is the victim of all the jokes. He's the butt of a lot of the jokes I make, unfortunately. But he takes it well, and he's doing a very good job tonight. He's doing an exceptional job, Barracks, tonight, actually. In comes BX, in comes Zico, in comes Vigo. Continue on. Keto pit on the last lap. Where is he going to come out in regards to Zico? That's the real question here. I think Zico jumped him. I think Zico has. Zico has jumped him. He jumped him very comfortably as well. Put a lot less fuel in. Vigo's come out behind Dino, but still ahead of Javi. Or is it going to be ahead of Javi by the time they hit the top of the hill? Incoming Eric's driver. Gets him. Into turn 1, a little bit deep there for Javi, but still gets Vigo before Vigo can get up to speed. And now Javi's going to hope that the rhythm here is just going to get him a little bit of a gap. Otherwise, he's going to become under fire very quickly. So Vigo caught here. Dino's done his first stop, I think. Yeah, he has done his first stop. We'll see if he's going to do anything about it. Currently ahead of everyone at the back. Slim 2.3 seconds ahead of Mumu now. That gap seems to be coming down. Iggy in, Millis in. So we'll have to keep an eye out on when Millis is coming out in respect to BX. So that's about a second prior. We'll see where that gap is going to be now. Latari stayed out as well. Latari should be able to get one more off of his tank there before he has to switch into the pits off of the medium tyres here. 1.6 between Jensen and Mumu. That gap's relatively stayed the same. Slim 2.2 ahead at this point. Aura and Iggy coming out. They were relatively close. Not relatively close now. Iggy 2.5 seconds behind Aura, but is he going to come out ahead of Millis and BX? BX has got Millis. So it looks like the undercut might be the way to go. The undercut has worked a couple of times now. BX got ahead of Millis, and we saw Zico jump Keto as well. And have it get Vigo. Let's see if that stuck. That did stick as they head down into turn 1. It's genuinely one of the most stacked fields I think I've ever seen in this league. It is ridiculous. And to think that it's not as strong as it could be, because Lewis was meant to be here tonight as well. You've got Mumu, you've got Jensen, you've got Aura, you've got Millis, who is a very strong competitor in his own right. You've got ALR, Royalty, and Iggy and BX, and Slim's extremely quick tonight as well. Like, you have some names here in this grid. It is absolutely insane to think the level this league has got to. Who's up there? Famous Project Platypus is if you're talking about thing. Latari into the pits now. Mumu's in, Slim's in as well. Slim should get out ahead of his rival. He's putting a little bit less. He has got out ahead of him. Jensen's stayed out one more. Jensen seems to be going the longest, which makes sense. He is an Alexis. That's actually rather unsurprising in the end then. Everyone's doing a 2-stop, so there's not really much to gain in terms of your strategy. You just have to be on the right strategy at the right time. And again, Slim's on softs, and so it's the guy behind him now. The Falcon driver, who has the eyes on him from all over, is the one that's, well, now on soft and a lot. A lot of catching up to do. 2-point-something seconds to Slim. He's dropped now and he's on the softs. He's got rid of the softer, the harder compound compared to the driver out in front. And quite frankly, that means Slim is going to be under attack this entire stint. He has got to get this right. He's going on to soft. He's going on to mediums to end this Slim. Whereas Mumu's got the softs. So we'll see it swing back eventually. Pit stop now for Jensen, who's just about to come out somewhere around about where Aura should be, if the maths is correct. So Slim is just doing enough. Just doing enough right now to hold Mumu at bay. And there comes Jensen out the pits. Gets him. Alright, so Jensen not out. He's going to be out. He's going to be just about. Wow, right behind his Falcon teammate here. Out the pits and the overcar, I think, for Jensen may have paid off just a little bit. That didn't sound good on the tyres for Slim whatsoever. That sounded like he was sliding. But he has got a little bit of an advantage here. A little bit further out in front, 2.3 seconds rather than 2 seconds he was prior. Why is everyone just typing mouse in the chat? What is going on? Am I with a Miller? So I just said mouse for some reason. I might be losing it. Yeah. Okay, I think that might be what it is. Yeah. I don't know anymore. Javi's cleared Vigo quite handedly. BX is behind Dyna. BX is down in 10th. I don't even know at this point. I'm confused. I'm thoroughly confused. Looking for chat at the moment. But yeah, BX has dropped to 10th. 155 on the last lap. So yeah, he definitely had a spin on that last lap. Definitely hit a wall of some sort. He dropped all the way to 10th. Was beside Milius there. He's not anymore. Who just set the fastest lap for the entire race as well. Okay, so the BMW seems to be coming out with a little bit of force in the second stint. Picking up a little bit of the dirt, so did Iggy in front of him, but he's now chasing down the Austrian. FGR just stepping into their own. We'll see whether or not. I think they're going to change here. 1.3 seconds now between Millis and Iggy. And I don't think Millis is going to catch him on this lap. It might set up a decent next lap. Jensen right now, right behind his teammate. They've cleared Aura just a little bit. They've gone over the second mark. Slim is the one in front. Well, yeah, he's had to. He did put in a lot less fuel than the company around him. So he did have to. He's kind of also potentially just doing that because that's his car. Admittedly, I don't particularly know how the Z4 works in terms of his power band. I'm pretty sure someone will fill me in as we continue on in this race. But yeah, the Z4 is a wild pick compared to everything else we see normally on the grid. Not something I have a lot of information about. Slim still 2 seconds up the road as it stands. Jensen there in third. At the moment, 0.4 of a second behind his teammate, 1.3 ahead of Oru, who's currently in fourth for FGR. I think Falcon might be about to start just notching in that lead just a little bit closer. It was 37 at the beginning of the day to Falcon. Arix was closer. Arix was 15 points closer to FGR than what Falcon is, but Arix outside of Slim right now are falling apart at the seams. Iggy still keeping an arm's length gap to Millis in sixth at the moment. Zico 5 seconds behind there and has very much cleared Keto now, so Zico can start walking his way back toward the front. Dino is in ninth as it stands. So you got BX in 10th, 3.3 seconds further back. Just needs to find the rhythm for Project Platypus here, who are just slowly dropping off the front three in this championship fight. They're going to be fourth, and unless they get an incredibly strong week 7 and 8, the streak of winning every odd season championship is going to come to an end. Abby there in 11th has got his still 1.1 seconds ahead of Vigo, so a little bit of a gap closed there as well. The only issue is their third driver is in lobby B, whereas Millis is currently up in 6th. Abby needs to work his way forward if he can get all the way there. Apologies for having to mute my mic there. Hay Fever is being an absolute twat. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. Owen there with Latari at the back, 0.9 of a second behind the Apex driver, who had started pretty well. He got caught up in the answers between Javi and Dino early. And that set those two back quite some distance. Javi still comfortably ahead. He needs to close the gap in on BX. So we're currently trying to close the gap in on Dino. Did it by a couple of times on the prior lap, but hasn't really been able to establish it. Keto 3.7 seconds ahead of the Falcon driver. Iggy and Millis now within a second of each other. There we go. We have now a proper battle on track. We will look at in a minute, because these two, whilst in a proper battle, are teammates and aren't going to force each other into any sort of move that they aren't going to, like, that they don't want to make here, because that would be stupid. Oh, moving off the track! And Jensen goes by, and as soon as they say they're not going to force each other into anything, that's an immediate mistake from the Z4. There you go, Falcon having the trade position there because of a mistake. Into the second, well, out of the third to last corner. If you know there's one thing I'm good for, it's a good commentator's curse once in a while. It's been a while since we had a proper commentator's curse on this channel, so there's one. There's a real time one anyway. Aura's now caught himself up. Slim, 2.3 seconds in front. Gains a little bit out of the mistake from Mumu there in third. At the end of the day, Falcon didn't lose anything from that, apart from a little bit of time trying to win this race. But they do know that, well, potentially know anyway, if the team is doing a good enough job at feeding information back, that Slim's got a medium tyre to run at the end of this one. Well, the two behind him both have soft tyres. Or we presume that they have soft tyres anyway, to go to the end of this race on, when they come in for the next stop. Almost halfway through this race. Top four not showing much sign of movement. Millis is starting to, well, trying to get within a decent gap of Iggy, but Iggy just opened it up back above the second mark. So we are just seeing Iggy start to extend a little bit more. Millis is off the track now, and that 1.0 has just gained up to 1.7. So Iggy now has breathing room. Alongside getting out the second, he's now got a little bit of a gap. It's over 2 seconds now. Another mistake from a FGR driver when they were trying to strike. And it's going to give Iggy a lot, well, a relaxing sigh, I think, has just come out of Iggy's direction there. Zico 6.3 seconds off of Millis. I'm not entirely sure there's going to be much room making well, change happening there. Keto 2.3 behind Zico, 3.5 ahead of Dino. That gap really isn't changing. BX has lost time actually on Dino since the last time we checked in. Javi is closing that gap. Vigo also getting himself involved as well. We might have a three-way fight for 10th place sooner rather than later in this one. Atari and Owen in 13th and 14th have a second or more advantage, so they are fairly comfortably away from each other. It looked like Vigo just dropped it a little bit there in the background. Out of the first sector, and he dropped it in the chicane. He's only dropped it a couple of attempts, which is fortunate for him, because that could have been a lot worse. It does allow for Javi to start making a little bit of headway into BX now. And Dino in a little world of his own, save for Zico and Keto at the moment. And it's 2.5 seconds now for Iggy over Millis. That mistake has cost Millis a decent chunk of time. It's about 2 seconds it's cost him overall. We got the front three about to start fighting. 1.2 seconds now is Slim to the front two, and I think this is probably going to end in a Falcon 1-2. Unless Slim's going to pull off one of the defenses of all time when he gets to a medium tyre here. It's going to have to be... for Slim to win from here, it would have to be one of the best drives this league has probably seen. Full stop. Quite frankly, I would be willing to put that right up there if I was to do a list. Jensen really reeling him in now. Actually extended a little bit to Mumu in third while doing so. 0.8 of a second. It's the first time since lap 1 it's seen to be less than a second. And now this is going to be a pressure situation for Slim. It's going to be a case of how well did he deal with it. Jensen's currently on the fastest lap, which was currently in his name anyway. Going for a fastest lap to beat his fastest lap. If he can keep it through this final couple of corners, he can. Oh, his teammate doesn't do a very good job at holding it though. That might bring Aura back into it a little bit. But he has cleared Jensen from Mumu, second from third. Which does now mean that we're going to actually have to see 2 on-track overtakes on Slim at some point in this race. Slim extending out of the second for a split second there. He actually is back out of the second as we head out of turn 1. Or 0.7 behind Mumu, not really doing an awful lot. It's any of these drivers here, actually. I think BX is just starting to eke into Dino, though. BX finally making a move. Slim is on the softs, yeah, so he's on his second set of softs. He's got to go to mediums at the end. There you go, back within a second. Yeah. We do know, unless he's doing a 3-stop soft tyre with a medium, like 1 or 2 laps at the end, which would not be advised. He does not have the gap for that in any way, shape or form. Yeah, it's going to be mediums for Slim, and he's going to try and hold on to potentially a podium if he can. Right now, he's doing a good job holding Jensen at bay. That gap really hasn't closed on this particular lap. The dirty air is just starting to play effect. He can force Jensen into a mistake here. He might be able to buy himself enough time to really figure it out. We're halfway through the race now. We're about to be halfway through the race. We're about to have completed the 20th lap, on to lap 21. We go towards the, well, out the final corner with the front 4 cars there. Slim and Jensen have both gone into lap 21. They got Mumu there in 3rd, Aura in 4th. Needs to find a little bit of pace because he's dropping off again. It's now 2.5 instead of like the 1.7 it was the lap prior. Iggy just starting to close back in on potentially top 4. Miller's very much dropped off the back of the Austrian driver in this stint. After that mistake, he's not really recovered. He is still comfortably ahead of Zico and everything else. The dominoes behind are starting to fall potentially here because Dino's tyres are starting to wear off, which allows for BX to potentially make his way back through and up in the 9th because he is there. Well, he made a mistake earlier on that cost him a large chunk of time, and you can see Quito in front as well. And Project Platypus just need the points right now. They need as many points as they could get because they need to be within arm's length of someone at, of the 3 teams out in front when we go to Spa next week. Because yes, it's double points, but if you are 100 points back, for example, heading into double points, it becomes a lot harder to win a title from there than it will do from any other position, realistically. Javi is right there with Vigo. Vigo has caught that all the way back up. Is there a move in the future here for FGR? It doesn't look like it's going to be here. A little bit better exit there for Javi. We'll give him enough breathing space. BX is within 0.6 of a second of Dino now. We go a little bit further forward because it's now 0.2 of a second at the front of the grid. Is there going to be a look for a move here? No, there is not. Jensen is just trying to bide his time here. Try and pick his spot. They're not going to be here, so we're going to go a little bit further down. BX not able to get past Dino either. The dirty air just kicking in. And Javi has managed to hold on against Vigo as well. This looks like it's going to be the next set for a move. We are going to go very quickly back to the front of the grid. Because if he's got a run, he could do it here. He does not have a run, and Slim still holds the lead over Jensen, who is flying in his Lexus right now. I wonder how much later he's going to pit than everyone else here in this Lexus, because that's the situation where if he can pit later and put less fuel in, he'll jump whoever he needs to. He's already done it once in this race. He could easily do it again. This front 3 have very much cleared the German driver in 4th right now. It's not going to be the most profitable day in the world for FGR. Falcon, the 3rd Falcon driver being Dino, he's got himself back to 9th after a terrible, terrible start. We'll see if he's able to just limit the damage that happened there. Jensen still not able to get Slim right now. 0.2 of a second as they lead themselves down toward the end of the first sector. Into the chicane we go. Slim still in commanding position here. Just not sure whether or not Jensen's going to get him before we head into the pit cycle. As Slim is doing a magnificent job of defending right now. I think it might be about to come to an end though. That's a run. That's definitely a run for Jensen. Against the Finn. Is he going to try it now? I wouldn't blame if he did. Doesn't even look for it. And Slim is going to hold on again. He's definitely holding him up now. Slim just doing enough to hold himself in the top two, in first position even. And now he's got a little bit of breathing room. As we go through the final couple of corners, Jensen just drops off a little bit. Now 0.5 of a second. Oh, he absolutely will get the position in the pits, but before then, let's make it a little bit interesting. It does mean that he's not going to force anything that he doesn't need to force. And that is, admittedly, that makes a lot more sense. And here comes Slim into the pits. He's going to go 17 laps on the medium tyre, I guess. I really don't see a three-stop working, that's for sure. Alright, Jensen and Mumu are through. Over 3.5 seconds off the Falcon drivers right now. They've got to get something going here. He's not particularly in danger from the Austrian in Aero GT, but he's not far away. Miller's 6 seconds further off there, so he's not really got much of a threat here. Zico gained a couple of seconds on lap 22. We'll see if there's going to be any any sort of changes here. So BX, there's Javi still fighting Vigo. He's been fighting Vigo since the first round of pit stops. Slim is out on a medium tyre going to the end. Okay, so that makes sense. That's the first of the final pit stops then, I guess. He has to. He's on medium tyres. He knows what he's going to have to. He knows he's up against it now. Because those two guys at the front, Jensen and Mumu, both have soft tyres to go onto, where Slim had to go onto the mediums because he hadn't used them yet. Javi under fire heavily. Slim, if Slim could get to Vigo here, you know, offer Javi some help, I think it would go a decent way. BX is just about to pit, so let's have a look at the way who's coming into pit here. I think Jensen and Mumu are going to go one more, you know. Yeah, they are. They're not even in red yet. They might actually an extra lap on top of that. Alright, now into the pits. 16 to go. He pit early off of his medium tyres, so softs are going to go on his car. I assume it's going to be to the end of this race. I don't really see why it wouldn't be. Pretty sure he did pit on about lap 8, so he is going to go roughly the same stint again. I don't really think he's under any sort of threat from Iggy at the moment. He's going to have to deal with potentially 4th for now. Zico into the pits, Keto and BX into the pits, Javi into the pits. Vigo stayed out, so we'll see how that plays against Javi. There's Slim in the background, 3.5 seconds, is catching up on that medium tyre. We know that Jensen and Mumu are going to come out in some region of Slim. I think they do beat him. I think they beat Slim out the pits here. Or if they don't beat Slim out the pits, it's not going to be by long enough that medium tyre is going to matter. So it's going to be medium soft the other way. We started with Slim on the softs and the other two on the mediums. The two Falcon boys on the mediums. It's going to be the roles reversed in this final stint. Otari stayed out. Or is the highest of those who have done their final pit. Actually, no, Slim is, sorry. Slim is in 6th, didn't see him there. Aura in 8th. Or Slim is catching Vigo up quite handedly in this lap, so it's very much a split point between the softs and the medium tyres. Iggy's now into the pits. The front two stayed out again, which is not too surprising. I mean, I would focus on these two, but I'm not entirely sure that they are going to fight. If I was Falcon here, it would be strict orders that they are simply not allowed to fight. They would be absolutely killing each other if they did. Javi's been in, so Owen's been in, so Dino is ahead of Javi by about 2.5, 3 seconds here actually, and BX jumps Dino out the pit. So that's where we are now. So Project Platypus did get the position. Keto's not that far up the road. B goes into the pits now. Where is he going to be in relation to Javi? That's the question. Those two have been fighting the entire time. So it's now pit stop central here at Sardegna. There goes BX, there goes Dino, there goes Keto as well. Javi, is he going to be out ahead? Vigo's coming out, Vigo's going to try and close him off! That was a little bit naughty! Slightly unpredictable, but I can understand what Vigo was trying to do there. Try and make it as difficult for Javi as possible. I can't blame him for it. Almost caused the crash, of the result. But they both come out unscathed, so no harm, no foul. In comes Jensen, in comes Mumu. Right, so this is where we get to find things that are very interesting. Latari and Iggy are fighting it out, which is... so Iggy's going to lose out to Aura a little bit here. He's very much under pressure. Well, he's very much being held up by Latari now, who's actually doing a very decent job of holding him back. Javi has got out ahead of Vigo again. And it's roughly the same gap again. So those two really didn't change anything in their fight. Jensen and Miru have jumped Slim. They've jumped him. They're going to get out and get up to speed far quicker than the Finn can get to them. And that should be game over then. Falcon should drive away for the 1-2 here. It'll be a massive day at the office again for Falcon if they can finish the job. And that championship gap is going away from 37 to Falcon in particular. That gap is going to come down quite considerably. Don't forget Dino's in the fight with BX and company in the back there as well, with Javi and Vigo. So it's all three of their Falcon are beating all three of their respective FGR drivers in this race so far. That's always a good sign for success. Slim 1.2 off the back of Mumu there, and I just don't see it. I just don't see a way back. Not without a mistake or two anyway. Jensen again in a very good position to win another ALR race. He won in Gardens, remember. The strategy worked out for him. He won in Gardens. He might be set up to win again. They'll go back to back. Not very often we see people go back to back in ALR Esports in terms of winning the races. Well, it might be a one that's happening tonight. Miller's 5.5 seconds off of Iggy, and yeah, well, that gap is continuously extending. That one mistake he made earlier on that released Iggy is he's not looked back. Zico 4.7 behind Miller's. I think that might be too little too late for Zico, even though he has closed that in quite a considerable amount. Keto will be under fire from BX. See if Keto can hang on to his top 8. Right now, he's got Dino and BX to contend with. He's going to have to hope those two fight each other. Javi is still fighting Vigo for 11th and 12th. The race continues to rage on here. Tari and Owen are in the last couple of spots. The front three have a large gap. That front three should still be the podium by the end of this one quite handedly. You can see there's Aura in the background of the shot. Just peering into view. 1.2 seconds now the lead for Jensen over Mumu, and I can imagine that they may have a little bit more freedom of fight if they come across each other now. They certainly wouldn't have had it before the pit stop, but I reckon they may have a little bit more freedom to go after each other at this point in the race, because they are both going to want to win, but at the end of the day, it's not a driver's championship here. You may just have to put the ego to the side for a second. It is just purely a team championship in ALR. And right now, Falcon are 1 and 2 in this race, and they're about to cut into the lead of the entire championship with 2 to go. They've got a 2.3 second gap on Slim, and you can tell that gap is just going to get wider and wider. Slim has given this his all. I can't blame Slim at all here for trying something a little bit different. Just didn't get enough of a gap in the first stint, and that was the thing that hindered his strategy in the end. He just didn't get enough of a gap in that first stint. Aura might get him by the end of this. That's the interesting situation now. Aura might get close enough by the end of this race where he steals himself the bottom step of this podium. Both Alex and Falcon are probably gonna be wanting that to not happen. They need all the points they can get right now. 3.3 between Aura and Iggy. That gap has started to go back up from the 2.7 it was at the pit stops. Just starting to go the other way now. Aura is just starting to put things together. That is not a good sign if you are an Arex driver right now. If to see this German for a driver for FGR start to put things into place. And as soon as you get things into place here, if you're Aura, you can charge him down. You've still got 10 laps to do it. Actually, still 11 laps to do it right now. Iggy 5.4 seconds ahead of Miller. So come down ever so slightly. Zico 4.3 now rather than the 4.7 it was not that long ago. Even though he did lose a couple of attempts on that last lap. And BX has caught up. There you go. Oh, Dino dropped off the back a little bit, but BX has caught up to Keto, looking for extra points for Project Platypus here. Looking to see if he can get himself just involved a little bit here. A 7th and 8th for Project Platypus wouldn't be disastrous, but it also wouldn't be good enough at this point in the season to keep them in a championship fight. And they're one of the big 4 in this league. Kind of fulfilling the Man United role as the big 4 at the moment. Let's see if BX is going to bully his way past Keto at some point here. He needs to get this move done so he can break a gap. Hope that Zico gets close enough to Millis to try and sneak a couple of points off of FGR. BX isn't going for it here. He isn't going to be able to go for it. He's not close enough. That might be a little bit deep. That's going to give Keto slightly more breathing room here. Avi is right behind, oh, well, not right behind, 1.6 seconds behind Dino. That's the big 3, and there you go. There's the third driver, well, the third driver for FGR, the third driver for Falcon right now, and the second for Arex. The third is in lobby B. I have to hope that Ben's done a number in that lobby here for Arex, so they have any chance at keeping themselves close enough at the top. BX is right beside Keto now. We'll take a look at the front in a minute. I think Jensen has actually managed to extend his lead just slightly. Yeah, Keto's holding on as well. Yeah, Jensen 1.6 now. It's 4.6 to Mumu in second. Between second and third. Yeah, it is. And Dora just closed that in from about 4.5 the last time we saw it to 2.1. We're about 9 and some change to go. Slim being on the medium tires might just cost him here. I wonder how much it is going to cost him as a whole. Aura currently, as I said before, found another 0.2 of a second from his fastest lap. What just happened there? Oh, the Z4 is just absolutely ear-scratchingly loud. Okay, I thought we had tire sliding for a minute there. I thought someone had crashed. Slim just about holding on. The real question is he going to be able to hold on for 9 laps of this? Millis is comfortably driving away from Zico now. Zico must have had a bit of a mare there. That was dropping below 4. It's now back up to 5.5. BX still hasn't got past Quito. They're in the same car. It's a fairly surprising outcome that this is not an overtake by now. Aero GT driver is holding on for dear life. BX looking to the outside, Quito defending the inside. It makes sense. It's just positioning the car exactly where he wants it to be positioned right now. Vigo's dropped off the back of Javi quite handedly now as well, so Javi's going after Dino. Here comes BX on Quito. Oh, no, God, I think they may have just slightly come together there. Quito touched the gravel. Oh, BX is off into the grass. I wish I had a replay of that because now BX has lost out. I wonder if that was anything you can do, I can do as well. Maybe, but without being able to see it again, we're never going to find out. The real shame. Oh, BX looking to the inside! It looked a little bit late there. I might have to, Maxi. I have to. It won't be for next week, though. I need to be paid first. Need to get paid first. Yeah, Quito ahead of BX right now, then Dino as well is involved in all this, which brings Javi and then potentially, it did look like a little bit like tit for tat, you're right. I'm not going to call it out until I know for sure. Yeah, Quito hanging on again. It is literally tooth and nail, but he is hanging on for dear life right now. And now he's going to bring a couple of extra drivers into this, which is actually what he would have wanted. He got exactly what he would have wanted here. He's going to play into his hands if he can get Dino and BX and Javi and Vigo all to start fighting it out for the place behind him. Then it'll give him a little bit more room to work himself. Does like a little bit of a deep line there through that chicane. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. BX is just looking for it on the outside now. Pulled alongside. He's definitely alongside this time. Round the outside goes the McLaren. Is he going to get it? We will look at Slim in a minute, but BX has got it. BX has got Quito there. What a move. He's going to fight it back straight away. Going to try and fight it back straight away. Quito's going to lose out there, though. BX is going to hang in and keep that 8th place. We go toward the front. All right, after seeing that battle between BX and Quito play out, did actually get it round the outside there. It's pretty impressive. Keep the speed, making sure that he gets it done. Cannot, but yeah, it's definitely good news for BX and Project Platypus there. However, it might be a bit of bad news for the rest of the group. If Aura can get this done, they're on lap 34 right now. There is a lot of time for Aura to pick his spot. He might want to do it before those tyres start to fall off, though. He definitely has fresher tyres for now. They're about to hit halfway in the next half a lap or so. It'll make his overtaking on Slim a little bit more difficult. Once it does, they are currently half a second away from each other. Slim has done a very good job in this race up to this point, Barracks. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold Nora off. It's an excruciating amount of time if you're Slim right now, though. Listen, if he was 3 or 4 laps further down the line, you'd be feeling a little bit more confident. You would be feeling a little bit more confident if you're Slim if you're on lap 38 instead of lap 34 right now, I'll say that much. Aura, tide will start to fall off a little bit as we go along. 0.3 of a second now between Slim and Aura for the bottom step of the podium. Iggy 3.8 back. If these two keep fighting, it might bring Iggy into this. He's gonna have to put in some laps though. We continue on into turn 1. Slim holds on for a little bit longer. We're on lap 35 now. The clock is starting to tick. 6 laps left for Aura to get the move done. We've seen this before where Aura was pushing last week at Gardens. It backfired then. He's looking to not repeat history now. If he can get this done early, he can start to drive away. Slim again, just doing enough to put his car where it needs to be. Oh, it looked like Aura's got a better run now, though. It's 1/10. It's 1/10. It's less than a tenth now. He's got a golden opportunity. If he wants to take it to the inside, he's going to try. He's going to line up the inside. And he's too deep, but he's still going to get it anyway. They're still side by side. Slim's got the outside line now, which is probably the better line. As we continue on into the 3rd sector, Slim has got it back. Aura just ever so slightly miscalculated the position into the heavy braking zone. And it's cost him a chance, a golden opportunity there. And that'll just wear the tyres just a little bit more. Slim just hangs on for a little bit longer. And Aura is going to be a little bit more desperate now. If he had just got on the brakes exactly when he needed to there, or instead of getting a little bit too deep, he would have closed the door. This would not be a conversation anymore. But now he's got to find another place to do the overtake, get another run, which is not easy around here. Going to the chicane, they're both a little bit deep there. Swinging it round. Aura's got a lot better of a run there, but he's had to come off a little bit because Slim didn't get a good run. That's going to hamper him just a little bit. 0.2 of a second split these two. If Aura can get the run here, he's going to get another chance. And I think he has got the run here. He's now within a 10.5. Another chance at the opportunity for the 3rd spot. The bottom step of the podium is now arose here for the German driver against the Finn. Is he going to look to the inside here? He's not. Surprisingly, he is not. He's going to try to the inside now, though, with a little bit late on the brakes. Well, a little bit late on the brakes is not the correct term. A little bit of swing around the corner is probably a better way of describing that. He hasn't actually got himself any better a position anyway. And the clock is now desperately ticking. We said this at the end of lap 34 that, quite frankly, Slim would much rather this be the end of lap 38. Well, he got to the end of lap 36. And he's still in the control of this bottom step of the podium. If anything, Iggy might get a real good shot at this at the end of this race. At the current rate that they're going, it's not going to be an issue down towards turn 1 here, because Slim is going to position his car again. Aura's got no room. He's got no chance at an overtake. Slim is doing just about enough at every opportunity to put a little bit of doubt, potentially now, into Aura's mind. Because Aura made the move the first time. He had it done. He went too deep. So he made the driver error there. And now it's going to be in the back of his head. He's got to have a short-term memory here to get a good enough run to go after Slim again. One thing's for sure. This is the corner that if he's going to get the run, it's been very evident that this is where he's going to have to do it. Doesn't look like he's got it this time. So he might have hit crossover. Slim's just gained a little bit here. Or may have used up his opportunity for his podium here. Iggy's catching up, but it's not really catching up enough unless these two continue to fight. The longer these two continue to fight, the bigger chance Iggy has. Right now, it's not enough. We're on the end of lap 37, 6/10 now. Slim is just starting to open up. Just ever so slightly to Aura. Apart from Aura getting a much better exit there. Well, much better corner entrance, actually. The exit, not so much. He's just starting to lose it now, is Aura. The gap's still within 7/10 of a second. So there is still an opportunity for a move if he can nail the first sector here, because he's got to do it down into the braking zone at the middle of sector 2. They are definitely, they are overheating, I think is what they're doing. I really don't know if he's got enough tyre left, to be honest with you. I think he's running out of steam. Oh, he got a lot better of an exit there, never mind. He might have a glorious opportunity if he can get a good enough run here. The chance has opened up. If he can make this corner work. I think the chance isn't going to open up a lot because he's not got a better exit. Slim's got more on the acceleration front here, and that's going to put a dent in Aura's hopes. Iggy's now got within 2/10 of a second here, 2.5 seconds here, 2.4. They continue to go on. These two just fighting it out still. 2/10 of a second. Aura did a much better second sector than Slim has. And all of a sudden, it's game on again. We'll have a look in a minute. Much better. Medium tyre, yeah. Medium tyre. Oh, it looks a little bit deep. Looks a little bit deep there, and the chance may have just slipped by again. As he definitely did have a run if he could have got the corner right. Let's have a look further back. So, where's BX? Oh, BX is in 12th. BX is in 12th. Oh, another catastrophe for Project Platypus. He loses another 5. Another 4 position, sorry. Oh, that is absolutely awful timing for Project Platypus. Dino's up in 8, into 9th, Javi into 10th, Vigo into 11th. Does points in the direction of FGR. Actually, all 3 of the top 3 have just picked up top pick extra there. 5/10 of a second for Aura, who is running out of time. Vigo just hasn't really had it today, to be honest with you. Just hasn't really been there. He's just been in this pack the entire time. They've all been fighting here. They've all had there was a massive incident at the start, but I don't know if he got caught up in it. Definitely Javi and Dino that got caught up in that, and then Latari and Owen as well. Unfortunate. The unfortunate victim of that. You got 5/10 of a second, 4/10 of a second here for Aura, who, well, has 2 more chances. And now he's got to get this right. He has got to get this right. He is running out of time. 1 more lap. That's all that's left here. The Falcon boys have left the station. They are 1 or 2. And even a spin at this point probably isn't enough to stop that train from rolling. The real question, is it Arix or is it FGR on the bottom step of the podium today? Aura had a glorious opportunity but wasted it. He's gonna get 1 more chance. He's gonna have to do the chicane and then the pursuing corner absolutely perfectly to get a shot at Slim here. It looked like he'd done the chicane better for certain. He's got to run here. He's within 4/10 of a second. He might be running out of time though. It doesn't look like he's got a big run. anymore. Slim on the mediums have just about held on for as long as he possibly could have. That's a fair point, but they both drive under the Falcon banner on this server, so well, that's a fair point. It's still a nice little joke to make. Aura, again, a good corner, but not a good enough one to give him any sort of chance. He's running out of time. He's run out of time here. This is going to have to be one of the greatest moves I'll see into this second to last corner if he's going to make this stick. Slim defends to the inside to try and make it, try and make it to the line ahead of the German. The German has a run. Right now we're going to switch to the front because the Falcon boy, the 1 and 2, and Jensen wins in Sardegna. And there's been nothing but greatness there for Falcon. And here comes Slim, who has held on for dear life and holds on to third for Alex. Aura had his chance, his glorious opportunity where it fell by the wayside, ended in fourth. Iggy gets himself fifth on a good day for Aero GT. Millis gets sixth. And I think Zico's coming over in seventh for what has been another really poor day at the office for Project Platypus. Keto in eighth. He's done a good job to hold on to that. Dino in 9th, Vigo in 10th, rounds out the top 10, Javi in 11th, BX in 12th. There'll be Owen in 13th, Latari in 14th. I don't think Latari's got enough to fight this back into the final corner. And that is the case, so Owen owns in 13th, and Latari will round out the field. What a race there between Slim and Aura, that's for certain. The strategy benefited the Falcon boys. The rest of the group, however, absolutely tooth and nail the entire way through. We also had a point there where we thought that Iggy may have had a chance as well. That never came to fruition. BX obviously dropped a few positions from 8th down. I think with that being said, we have our 5. We have our 5. It's going to be Falcon, it's going to be FGR, it's going to be Arix, it's going to be Project Platypus, and it's going to be Aero GT on a massive day for Iggy and Keto in particular. That solidified their position in the top 5. That being said, with as a result of that, meaning we have to say goodbye for the season anyway. For Pegasus, for Apex, who definitely came into their own towards the end there, getting a couple of drivers into Lobby A each week, and then to Misfits as well. What a day. It might be the case that FGR just lose a little bit of a grasp on that lead now. We'll see how much damage has been done. With that being said, that's everything that I've got for you guys this week. Next week, because we are going for a longer distance with double points, we are starting at 7:30 PM UK time. I would like to repeat that, 7:30 PM UK time. Half an hour earlier than normal. That way we can accompany for the extra distance in the race and finish at somewhat reasonable time for everyone on the continent in particular, who will probably be driving well on into midnight. But yeah, with that being said, we say goodbye to the 3 teams at the bottom of the championship. The 5 teams at the top will move on. Everyone's been fantastic with the support this season. 2 more to go. Spa and the Nordschleife. We'll see you in a bit.